Hey, Wemberg World Entertainment, and there's another big movie coming out at the end of this year, and that is, of course, Dune Part 3, or Dune Messiah, as it's meant to be called. And we're now getting our first official looks at this movie because Timothée Chalamet has dropped the first image of his character Paul Atreides, but they've since released a bunch of character posters. Now, the trailer is also supposed to be dropping sometime today, but it's dropping in an unusual place, and it really shows you the kind of format they're trying to go to capture audiences nowadays with Hollywood, because they want to drop the trailer first on TikTok. Yeah, you heard that correctly, TikTok. But you're going to be seeing the images, and we're going to talk about it. The images look good. One character is in there, it's like, why did you put him in there? We knew he was coming back, but a lot of people who kind of just look at the movies but don't really follow the information about them will be surprised to see, of course, Jason Momoa back, seeing as he died in the first movie. But it says here, fresh off being snubbed for the second year in a row at the Oscars, Timothée Chalamet has dropped the first look at Paul Atreides in Dune Part 3. The first character posters have since followed, highlighting new and returning cast members. I just want to also say, the first image that Timothée Chalamet dropped is different from the other ones that he dropped in terms of his character, because the one he dropped, the character is masked. The other ones that the studio dropped, he's not masked. So it's just, there's two versions of Paul. So it's saying here anyway, it's also been confirmed that the first trailer for the trequel is set to be released tomorrow, which is today, where it will premiere on TikTok. This planned debut may put it in direct competition with Spider-Man Brand New Day based on current rumours. So there's talk that the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer could drop today as well at some stage. So Dune Part 3 will go head to head with Avengers Doomsday in theatres this December, with movie fans effectively referring to the clash as Doomsday. Will it be the new Barbenheimer? We'll see. Just to let you know, fans aren't calling that. Marketing people are calling it that, because they're trying to get it to do a Barbenheimer type of thing. It's a stupid thing to do. So in Dune Part 3, Paul will be roughly 15 to 20 years older than when we last saw him. Keep that in mind, because it's important when we get to what they're all talking about. And he certainly looks a little worse for wear here. Burdened by the billions who have died in his holy war, Paul has become a wary, tragic figure, a more cautionary anti-hero than the triumphant messiah he seemed to be at the end of Dune Part 2. So, Chalamet said this about his new buzz cut while he was promoting Marty Supreme, saying, "It was for a film, for Dune Part 3, and there's supposed to be a nice character shift, and I'm playing 15, 20 years older, so we did a 3mm haircut, I think it's called. Then the director Denis Villeneuve wanted more, 1.5. Then we did 1. And I begged him. I said, please, like, your hair, weirdly, we're all attached. It's kind of like our personality. If you say so, sunshine." So, the movie is based on Frank Herbert's 1969 novel Dune Messiah, which, as noted, follows Paul Atreides' struggles with the consequences of his Freeman-led jihad upon his ascension to Emperor. Villeneuve has described the first two movies as one entry, adding that they're a movie made in 2 parts. It's finished, it's done. Now, this is where it's important to hear Chalamet say, we're meeting Paul roughly 15 to 20 years later. He's that much older. As for why he came back for a third chapter, the filmmaker added, so this is Denis Villeneuve now, like Herbert did with Dune Messiah, I think it'll be a great idea to do something completely different. The story takes place 12 years after where we left the characters at the end of Part 2. So if only 12 years has been removed, why are they saying he would be 15 to 20 years older? That means we would be 15 to 20 years removed from the last movie, but Denis Villeneuve says we're only 12 years apart. That's where it's important to note that. So he continued saying their journey, their story is different this time, and that's why I always say that while it's the same world, it's a new film with new circumstances. So Dune Part 3 stars Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya and Robert Pattinson and Florence Pugh and blah blah blah. We know all the bloody cast. The Jason Momoa one is funny that they've like flat out put out his poster, because it's like, yeah, you might have had his name in there, but a lot of people would have been asking like, is that flashbacks and stuff? But then to have him on the poster, obviously he has more of a role. Of course, you get your first look at Robert Pattinson, who looks quite unusual. There's actually two people in the posters that when you look at, you kind of have to break down and think like, who is that? Robert Pattinson is the first one, you're like, who is that? And the other one, you're like, who is this? Is this someone new? And then you realize it's Florence Pugh, which is the character that's like caked in, I don't know what it is, whether it's some sort of paint or mud or whatever it is, but that's Florence Pugh. But they're interesting images. The Anna Taylor-Joy is an interesting one to have in there because she is, of course, the sister to Paul. I don't remember her having black hair in that vision in the second movie. Did she have black hair? I thought she had blonde hair. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I thought she had blonde hair. But it's black in these posters, so the posters, they're character posters, but they're interesting posters, you know. The Paul looks, you know, very different with all this kind of weird scarring around his eyes and stuff, and he does look a little more evil. Zendaya has seemingly a new scar as well. Jason Momoa, unlike the first movie, has his beard, or at least half a beard. And yeah, they all look pretty much worse for wear. So, except Rebecca Ferguson, she's the only one who looks like she hasn't much changed. But I'm interested in this movie. The book is what people are concerned about, that the book is very unusual and goes in a very weird direction and stuff, and it is notoriously difficult to adapt that particular book, and people are questioning, will they be able to pull that off with this movie? Will they manage to put something that is, you know, understandable on the screen with Messiah? Time will tell. So there's the first official posters for this thing, the character posters. Again, you can see one is where Paul has like the mask and stuff on. That's the image that Timothée Chalamet released, and then there's the ones where he's without that mask and stuff. So interesting posters, and looking forward to seeing what this trailer will deliver. Probably will do a reaction to that. It'll probably drop another day or something, but we'll probably no doubt get absolutely crucified for doing the trailer as well, because Warner Brothers just love hitting channels that do trailers. I don't understand it, but we'll probably cover it anyway. But what do you guys think of the posters? Are you looking forward to this movie? What do you think of the overall Dune franchise? And what do you think of these posters, of course? Did you notice it was Florence Pugh and Robert Pattinson? Do let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.